Hi guys, this is my book review for The Heir by Kiera Cass, which is the fourth book in the Selection series. I've been listening to the audiobook, which is performed by Brittany Presley, and the first three books in the series are The Selection, The Elite, and The One. The Selection is like a dystopian royal bachelor story. The first three books follow America Singer as she's a candidate to win the hand of Prince Maxon, and The Heir follows Maxon and America's daughter Eadlyn as she holds her own selection. So The Heir takes place 20 years after the first three books. Maxon and America are now ruling the country, they have 4 children of their own, and they have succeeded in dissolving the caste system. So the caste system was based on what job you held, with the number 1 being the royal family, and then 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, so on, being lower classes. People tended to marry within their own class system, or maybe 1 above or below them, but not like a 5 wouldn't marry a 1. With the dissolving of the caste system, there's still a bit of unrest. There are people who liked the caste system, or liked the structure of it, and knowing where their place was in the world. And so there's now fighting going on throughout the kingdom, and Maxon and America convince their daughter Eadlyn to hold a selection to kind of distract the country from their problems. Eadlyn's lived a pretty sheltered life in the palace, and she's grown up being told from day one that she is going to be queen one day. She will be the first woman to inherit the throne on her own by virtue of birth, and Eadlyn is convinced that she doesn't need a man. So Eadlyn reluctantly agrees to do the selection because it'll be good for her country. Eadlyn has lived a pretty sheltered life, and she doesn't really know how to communicate well with the lower classes. She has this inflated ego. I mean, yes, she's a princess and all, and she's going to be queen. She kind of ends up rubbing everybody's nose in it, and unintentionally. And she also doesn't have much experience dating. So with this selection, 35 men are coming to the palace to compete for her hand, and she ends up dating 35 men at once, right in the public eye on camera. So, yay. So glad I'm not Eadlyn. So the first 3 books are from the perspective of America, who is a candidate in this election, whereas The Heir is from the perspective of Eadlyn, who is the royal family and the one doing the selecting. I like getting to see the other side of the selection. Eadlyn as a narrator is kind of a cringeworthy person to be in their head. She's young. She's still kind of young. She's 18, but she's naive about the way the whole world works. And so there's a lot of her making mistakes. And as a reader, I'm kind of just like, oh, no, don't do that. Like watching a train wreck. So on the whole, Eadlyn's character is kind of this combination of somebody that I can sort of relate to. As an introvert, I'm not somebody who likes to share my whole life with everybody I meet. Like, just because we just met doesn't mean I need to tell you my whole life story. So I kind of get Eadlyn's reservations and this side of her that doesn't want to tell everybody everything. But on the other hand, she doesn't have anybody that she really can tell everything to. She has a twin brother, Aaron, who she's kind of close to, but they still don't talk about everything. Like, there's still things that they keep from each other. And it's a different relationship you have with a sibling, and I would imagine with a twin, especially, that you wouldn't have with another, like, friend. And she doesn't really have any other best friends. So she doesn't really know how to deal with all these guys who are trying to get close to her and get to know her. She runs away and kind of shuts people out. So I really feel bad for Eadlyn as a character, because it's kind of not her fault. Like, part of this is not her fault, part of this is her upbringing, that her parents have kept her in the palace, and that she hasn't had much experience with the outside world, or making friends outside of the palace, basically. On the other hand, I'm kind of cringing because, like, oh, no, Eadlyn, that's not going to be helpful, and that's no way to hold a selection, and you're trying to win over the people, not make them hate you more, basically. Luckily, Eadlyn does show character development throughout the course of the book. I love getting to see all the guys. So the guys are also interesting to see, like, which characters they are and where they're coming from and who is she going to pick? It's also interesting to see the family dynamic going on in the royal family between Eadlyn and her brothers, between her parents and her, and getting to see Maxon and America older and what's been going on in their lives and how they've grown and changed. So I really enjoyed this book, and I cannot wait to see what happens in the next book, to see how Eadlyn grows and who she picks and how everything resolves with her family and the country. I love you guys. Peace out and keep reading. Bye.